Hello and welcome to this tutorial. This video is a follow-up to the last one about the custom tag, where I told you that you can use JSON or string data to enhance your data retrieval. So for instance, you could store something about your users or send any additional data you want to store in nanosites. So stick with me and I will show you how you can do this. In the last video, I showed you how you can track an event when I click this button. It has successfully created a request, and I showed you that if we refresh the page, the total event amount will go up and we see an additional event being tracked. But now I want to show you how we can use JSON to also add a category, a label, a value, and additional data. So we don't just see that the event has been triggered, but we can send data with it. In order to make this work, I will go to the docs. Here I can use the tags directory and go to custom events. It will tell us how we can simply use the tag. We install a package, import the track function, embed the tag, and have an event handler which calls the track function. Here we can also see how we can track with metadata. So the first argument of the track function is a string for the event name. We used hello. But here we can also define another argument in an object. So we can have the event name and an object with some data. There are predefined fields such as category, label, and value, which will display some information in the table in nanosites. But we can also define additional data. So when we go back to our dashboard, we can click on an event and we see the label, value, and category. If we define these, they will show up here. But we can also define different data, and this will show here in this JSON format. We're now back in our code, so let's try and implement this. In the track function, next to the event name, we can pass in an additional attribute. This needs to be an object, and it can have three fields. It can have a category. Let's say this is a CTA category. It can also have a value. Let's say the value is 1 because we're triggering one event. And it can have a label. The label can also be dynamic. So let's use something like it is and say this is a new date.local string. And this should be dynamic for every request. But we can also pass in additional fields and data. So for instance, let's say hello from, and I will just say Paul, just so we can see that we can also pass additional data to nanosites. After I committed my changes and deployed them live, I can now visit my page again. I will trigger the event by pressing this button. This will make a request to nanosites.dev. In my dashboard, I can now reload the page and see a new event. When I click into this event, I can see the timestamp, I can see the event name again, but I also see the category, my label, and the value. As you can see, the value is dynamic, and I can also copy the data from here. And you see the hello from Paul is also saved. So you can use this to also add dynamic data as well as additional data. And just like this, we made the custom tag much more valuable. You can track dynamic data and add additional data as much as you like. So what are you waiting for? Get started by tracking your custom events with nanosites today. Till next time, bye.